Los Angeles, the Astros rallied for 5 in the ninth to earn a snatch-and-back style victory, putting the LA Dodgers in a position tonight where they're trying to avoid their first 3-game losing streak of the season. There is history, there is star power this Sunday in Los Angeles. Welcome to Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. It's the Houston Astros and the Los Angeles Dodgers presented by Taco Bell. Tonight's game is a part of ESPN's Geico Hunt for October.
And the Houston Astros have claimed that city's first ever World Series championship.
Today's a very difficult day for the Houston Astros.
The commissioner made his report, and the Astros made their decision as well.
They found enough evidence to support 3 managers losing their job. It's hard to feel like they earned it.
This was what a lot of folks expected when these two teams hooked up. There may be some ill will still.
And reminders all day, all weekend long of the aforementioned ill will in the sky and on the ground. It's hard to avoid if you're anywhere near Dodger Stadium. The fact that Dodger fans have not forgotten. That's the backdrop for Sunday Night Baseball tonight. Alex Rodriguez, Matt Vasgersian. Hey, we love rivalry games in baseball. We love Red Sox, Yankees. We love Cubs, Cardinals. This might be the one right here, Dodgers-Astros.
I love it, and it's great for baseball, and I love a little tailgating with a little social distancing.
Let's talk about the home side. The LA Dodgers have been the class of the National League, if not in all of baseball this year, looking for an 8th consecutive division title. And in 2020, they've done it on both sides of the scorecard. A run differential of almost 100 through not even 50 games, best in baseball. Their offense has clicked. They lead the league in homers. They've homered in 5 straight. They've always been able to pitch during this run of dominance. LA's been great. And the best example of that, their newest Dodger, the shiny new toy, Mookie Betts, has been everything they would hope he could have been.
Matty, and then some. He has been phenomenal, and he's done it with power, average, running the bases, playing gold glove defense like Roberto Clemente. And that's not all. He's been exceptional in the clubhouse. I had one of his teammates tell me just this morning that he's one of the best teammates I've ever had, and he's basically taken us from World Series contender to World Series champions.
Things not going as swimmingly on the other side of this matchup. For the Houston Astros, the reigning American League champs, it's been a season full of injury and underperformance. First for the injuries, Altuve, the Rookie of the Year, Yordan Alvarez. Verlander might come back this year, as you heard on Baseball Tonight. As far as the underperformance, Bregman and Springer, a shadow of what they were last year. Jose Altuve on the IL and not hitting when he was on the field because of the knee. That's the bad news in Houston. Give us some of the good news for the Astros.
Well, everything that could go wrong has gone wrong for the reigning American League champs. But this is a dangerous team. If you look at it, they're still playing .500. They're still in second place. They're poised to go back to the postseason. Matty, this is a team you want to put away. There's not a team you want to play in October because they know how to win. They're champions. They're tough. They're good. And as they showed you last night, they have a chip on their shoulder.
We'll talk about that chip on the Astros' shoulder with Carlos Correa. He's wearing a microphone for us. Kike Hernandez wearing a microphone for us on the other side of the matchup. 13 games left for the Dodgers and Astros to bolster their postseason resumes. We're back with the starting lineups and the opening pitch from L.A. next. Of Major League Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Order ahead and pick up your favorites at our contactless drive-thru. On a hazy day in the Chavez Ravine district of Los Angeles, the fires in Southern California really playing games with the air quality. And our best to everybody who is suffering from the effects of the terrible fires in Southern California. The LA Dodgers ready to go to work to try to pad a Major League best record of 32-14. There were some cracks in the armor last night, however, and that's how we say good evening to Buster Olney.
Yeah, Matt, generally speaking around the sport, the Dodgers are considered the favorites to win the World Series. As you mentioned, they got the best record in baseball. They have the best run differential in baseball, plus 96. And yet there's a feeling in the Dodgers organization that this team really hasn't hit its stride yet because they've got some key guys who have struggled, like Cody Bellinger, hitting .212 so far this year. Max Muncy, batting .194. Closer Kenley Jansen, who may not necessarily be their closer moving forward, he's allowed 9 hits and 8 runs in his last 3 1/3 innings. And keep in mind, the San Diego Padres continue to bear down on the Dodgers. Those two teams getting ready to start a 3-game series on Monday, Matt.
Yeah, Buster, the Padres bearing down today in terms of a win in Game 1 of their doubleheader down the road at Petco Park. They beat the Giants 6-0, and they've pulled even with the Giants. It's a 1-1 tie in Game 2 of that twin ball in the 4th. On to this one tonight. Brusdar Graterol making his first ever Major League start. Before you get too excited, Alex, as we were told before the game, it's an opener stunt. He'll be out there for an inning, likely no more than that to begin the night.
And you're going to see smoke. Easy 100 miles an hour, and there it is.
Yeah, boy, second pitch of the ball game at 0-2 now to George Springer.
2-pitch pitcher, fastball, slider.
Doesn't plan on needing much more than that in an inning of work. And again, the hope is he just takes care of the top of the first, and then that bullpen gate's going to swing open for the rest of the night. The 0-2 is swung on and missed. Slider takes care of George Springer. As we take care of the rest of Dusty Baker's Astros starting lineup, brought to you by Taco Bell. Bregman and Brantley follow in the first. Carlos Correa has been the Astros' most consistent player on both sides of the scorecard this year. Leads the team in batting, on base, and hits. Yesterday, hits weren't a problem. The Astros went 11 for 36, but playing on the road has been a bit of an issue, mysteriously, for the Astros this year. Something Dusty Baker told us today he's just not used to seeing as a Major League manager.
And interesting, he talked about routines and how they're out of routines. They're used to having guys go to coffee, get together, have drinks afterwards. But this is a challenge not only for the Astros, but for all 30 teams.
Count is 0-2 to Alex Bregman. 5 pitches and 5 strikes from Brusdar Graterol to start the ball game. And I think we're seeing, we're 2 at-bats into the game, Alex, why Graterol is considered a closer of the future.
Smoke thrower and back-to-back strikeouts on the slider. This time a hanging slider right down the middle. Backs up a little bit, but sometimes the slider hangs too much.
Brusdar Graterol set a Twins velocity record last year by throwing a pitch 102 miles an hour. He leads the world in 100-plus mile-an-hour pitches this year. 6 pitches, 6 strikes. Make it 7 for 7 as he starts Michael Brantley with a breaking ball for a strike.
And for the Astros in 2020, they have a lot of problems, but Michael Brantley is not one of them.
Putting together a typical Michael Brantley type of year. The 4-time All-Star at .306 this season. I mean, you can just write him down for around a .300 batting average in each of the last few years. 1-1 from Graterol is served into the opposite field. And that's how you straighten out 101 miles an hour.
I mean, the epitome of a great hitter. You have good takes and good swings. And 101, hum, and let me just hit it the other way. Textbook hitting by Brantley.
Greg Maddux used to have a little phrase when he would describe his changeup, even his two-seam fastball to people. He would say, try less. It seems that applies on a swing like that, too.
Edgar Martinez told me exactly that, Matty. Try less. When a guy throws above 95, the easier swing, the better it is.
2-out single in front of Carlos Correa. 2017 All-Star was 1 for 3 yesterday. Correa is en route to a very good overall year, and in the minds of many, a likely Gold Glove at shortstop in the American League. He's been special on defense this season.
Maddie, and for Carlos and the Astros, Mr. Correa's best when he's on the field. The most important statistic for this young man is games played. When you're that good and that talented, it's paramount that you stay on the field.
Behind 0-2 with the runner aboard and 2 out in the first. And Brusdar Graterol strikes out 3. And we're out to a very impressive start to the ball game. Underway in Los Angeles. Astros tonight, terrific success as Dodger manager. National League pennants in back-to-back years. Came very close to a World Series title in 2017. Here's how he aligns the Dodgers. Their Taco Bell starting lineup tonight. Betts, Seager, and Pollock off the top. Muncy and Smith follow. Will Smith has been outstanding since coming off the IL with a neck injury on August 23rd. He's reached base safely in 25 of his 50 plate appearances and has added 80 points to his batting average during that span. Bellinger, Taylor, Peterson, and Hernandez follow against a guy who wore a Dodger uniform and did so very successfully over a 3-year span. The 6-time All-Star, 6-time Gold Glover Zach Greinke.
Yeah, the veteran would throw everything in the kitchen sink at you. He'll throw a fastball, curveball, a slider. His money pitch is the changeup, and he's got the very slow breaking ball around 65 miles per hour.
Yeah, Dave Roberts also told us as Mookie Betts digs in that he does not expect more than about 35% of Zach Greinke's arsenal tonight to be fastball. He's looking for spin. He's looking for changeups and just about everything else that's in your head, to your point.
Yeah. As a hitter, expect the unexpected.
It's 0-2 to Mookie Betts leading off the home half of the first, and Betts rolls over a ground ball for Correa, who made the play while that ball was getting past him.
And a dandy for Carlos Correa, the former #1 pick. Talked about him staying healthy. Look at the agility for a guy 6'4", 225 pounds. This guy can play strong safety, and boy, that looks easy, but it is a difficult play.
A little nod to his rookie first baseman, who made a nice stretch to finish the play. And here's Corey Seager now with 1 gone. Well, there's so much to talk about, Alex, tonight with Zach Greinke. 3-1, got off to such a great start this year. His first 5 assignments worked to the tune of a 1.84 ERA. The returns haven't been quite as good lately. His last 4 starts, ERA over 5. Seager bounces it to that rookie first baseman. Abraham Toro makes the play, and there are 2 gone.
You know, Greinke's like an older carb with low mileage. He started pitching as a senior in high school, was a phenomenal shortstop, and also a tremendous youth tennis player. This guy can do it all. As a matter of fact, as a 10-year-old, he was 50-0 before quitting tennis as a 10-year-old.
Spirit of the U.S. Open Finals on this Sunday. 2 gone, bases empty now for A.J. Pollock.
I knew some tennis talk would get you going a little bit.
That does get me going. So what did we just say about Dave Roberts? And we all agreed we didn't think we'd see many fastballs tonight. You just said expect the unexpected, and that's what's happening. He's thrown nothing but fastballs. He's mixed in a couple of breaking balls here, but more fastballs than I expected to start the game.
There's another one, fastball away. And you see that's a little cutter there, 82 miles an hour. And, Matty, when this guy throws a fastball, there's 5 different fastballs. There's a sink, there's a 4-seamer, there's a little cutter, 82 miles an hour. And a lot of times, when a guy like Zach Greinke's not throwing mid-90s anymore, Maldonado, the Gold Glover, will just say, hey, throw whatever you want.
Pollock sends a ball well hit into the corner in left field, and that one is gone. A.J. Pollock's 10th of the year.
We talked about the previous pitch, a good cutter at 82 miles an hour. This time is a slow breaking ball and not so good. Pollock knows exactly what to do with it. Bang.
Satisfying numbers for A.J. Pollock after really a down year in 2019. He has bounced back in his second year as a Dodger. He's been a big part of their success this year. And here's Max Muncy now. Muncy under 200 this year, starting play at $194. Nothing wrong with the power numbers. But the batting average has been in a tailspin really since the beginning of the season, and Max hasn't been able to climb out of that hole. 2 for his last 21 after an 0 for 4 last night. Good changeup swung on a miss.
Good news for Muncy. Average is down. As you said, still hitting for power, still walking. Last week, we talked about the killer bees with the Cubs. They weren't hitting for average, but they weren't walking. That's a really good asset that Muncy brings to the lineup every day.
Muncy being played to pull as he is by just about everybody. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Curveball finished him off. Scoreboard cracked open, 2 outs into the first, courtesy of A.J. Pollock's 10th of the year. On to the second in Los Angeles on this Sunday night. The Dodgers out front 1-0. Triple header, Dodgers, Padres at 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Mets, Phillies, and finally Diamondbacks and Angels next Sunday. 2 big league series finales for you. Giants against the AL West leading A's, 4 Eastern, and then Sunday night it's the Twins and National League Central Division leading Cubs, 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Josh Sborz is the new pitcher for the LA Dodgers, and he gets a first pitch out to open the second as Josh Reddick flies to right. So it's going to be a Johnny Holstaff game. We're going to see, I think, more than just a few pitchers tonight. In fact, Doc Roberts telling us it sounds like everybody except for Pedro Baez and Kenley Jansen stands a chance of getting into the ballgame tonight. I don't know how they've done it, but the Dodgers have really done a masterful job in avoiding pitchers working in back-to-back games. A quick out for Sborz. Now it's Martin Maldonado.
At some point, I'll have you lay out when tennis ends.
Ball and no strikes to Maldonado. 20 RBIs, leads all the American League catchers in that category. 2 balls and no strikes. You know, I guess as you try to dissect what's different about the Astros, Alex, and there's a lot different. It's not just 1 or 2 players. It's not just 1 or 2 positions. It's really a lineup-wide story. Last year they set a major league record with a team slugging percentage of .495. This year they're middle of the pack, pedestrian, at .417. Homers, on base, OPS, all of it down from a year ago. Slider backs up and misses. It's 3-1 on Maldonado now.
Yeah, last year the Astros had 3 or 4 guys in the top 12 in hitting. This year, 0 of 12.
And there's ball 4.
With Gratterall, you're thinking all night Here's the fastball. Well, what do you get? Slider, and slider. 3 Ks on 3 sliders, and the big celebration after the top of the first.
I mean, not only does Dave Roberts love his talent, the Dodgers rave about his kind of youthful energy that he's brought to a veteran team. They love having him around. He's always smiling. He's always laughing.
And that's so important, and I love it. You see Tatis, you see the next generation playing with so much emotion and passion. I know when Brett Gardner came up to the 2009 championship team, we needed that young energy that him and Nunez and Cano brought. That's exactly what these young players are doing for the Dodgers.
The young player here for the Astros, Abraham Toro, bounces it to the right side of the infield. Maldonado was running, avoids the double play, so it's a runner in scoring position with 2 gone now. Yeah, I guess Brusdar Graterol drives a big, loud truck. And Dave Roberts talks about when he leaves, and this started, I guess, in summer camp, when he leaves, and it's happening at the ballpark here during the season as well, honks the horn, blares the tunes. He lets everybody know when he's entering and exiting. You know, and this from a kid who's 22 years old in the beginning stages of his career. Miles Straw, the batter now, takes a breaking ball for a strike. One of the fastest men in baseball. Likely not one of the first names that rolls off your tongue when asked to list the quickest in the game. But in terms of sprint speed, that's feet per second, Miles Straw was clocked at the 4th fastest in all the land last year.
Speedster.
Guy's pretty quick on his own right. Ball and 2 strikes. Firmest velocity from the reliever Spores. Straw, Southern California native. It is a different looking lineup tonight than what we expected, and we asked Dusty Baker about that. He mentioned Aledmus Diaz needed a day to get off his feet. Yuli Gurriel injured his hand yesterday on base. He's day to day. And Kyle Tucker, who's been one of their real breakout stories this year, has just gone cold, and they're going to give him the end of this road trip off. There's Tucker. He's been really good this year for the Astros. Another bouncer to the right side of the infield. And that'll wrap up the inning. Couple scoreless innings. Doubleheader today. Pods took game 1. It's a 1-1 tie in game 2 in the 5th. First 2 teams from every division go automatically. And then the 7th and 8th seeds will be occupied by best records of the remaining teams, regardless of division. In the American League, Major League history was made in Denver. Took a while for him to get there, but Albert Pujols continues to climb the all-time home run chart, tying Willie Mays for 5th on the all-time list with career home run number 660. Into some heady company, my friend.
And here he comes, Albert Pujols, a great friend, a great ambassador of our game. And just is phenomenal to see the numbers he's been able to put up for so many years. Obviously a world champion, a gold glover, and everything in between.
We know how hard those get down the stretch. I mean, people look at your numbers. You were 18 shy of catching Babe Ruth. Was there any thought for you back then, like, I got to keep going, I got to get there?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was heartbroken. I was 4 home runs away from 700. And, boy, I was depressed for a couple of weeks. I just thought that I can get it done about 4 or 5 days before I went into Fenway. I hit one of the longest home runs of my career. And I said, oh, man, here we go. Here we go. And they tapped me on the shoulder and they said, it's time to go home. As a competitor, you always feel like you have 4 more in you. But I had a great run, and I'm so grateful for all the opportunities.
Well, Zach Greinke back to work here in the bottom half of the second. Solo home run by A.J. Pollock, accounting for the game's lone run so far tonight. And even on a night with no fans, it is always loud at Dodger Stadium ever since they installed the new sound system in center field. Blaring like a house party. And here's Will Smith to lead things off in the second. Smith, Bellinger, and Taylor. Zach Greinke likes to work the lower quadrant of the strike zone. StatCast powered by Google Cloud. Hammering that bottom third.
He's the opposite of a modern day pitcher where they're teaching you to pitch up in the zone. Greinke believes old school, pitching down in the zone. And Ted Barrett, who's behind the plate, the 22-year veteran, the crew chief, one of the best umpires in the game, one of the best people in our game. He has his interesting routine. He watches a lot of videos. He works on his positioning. And he's been quoted saying, sometimes I call the pitch off the plate to lefties, and I have to reposition where my head placement is. And you love to hear umpires talking about working on their craft, honing their craft. And Ted Barrett, it's a total package as a Major League Baseball umpire.
Jam shot back to Greinke, one of the best fielding pitchers in the history of the game, and he takes care of Smith for out number 1. I think wasn't Ted Barrett a amateur boxer too?
Yes.
Had a pretty legit career in the ring.
Yes. He used to practice with Holyfield. Oh. So when I used to go to the plate, I used to say, Ted, even if you call a bad pitch, I don't want to fight you. And he speaks perfect Spanish too.
Renaissance man.
Oh, he is the best.
1 gone for Cody Bellinger. Cody right on top of the plate against Zach Greinke, and maybe there's a method to the madness, because though he is cold right now, he has put up some very big numbers against Greinke in his career. Look how close he makes Anthony Rizzo look like he's bailing out. He is right on top of the plate.
And with those long arms, usually you have guys getting off the plate, not on the plate.
We welcome those of you who just got through watching the stirring conclusion to the men's U.S. Open final. Matt Vasgersian, Alex Rodriguez, Buster Olney in the studio. Dodgers and Astros in Los Angeles, wrapping up their 4th of 4 head-to-head this year. 1-0 start for the Dodgers on an A.J. Pollock homer. Zach Greinke dealing with the base runner as Cody Bellinger has just struck for a 1-out single. And on the other side of the scorecard, Brusdar Graterol started for the Dodgers, first major league start tonight. He got through the side without incident, and now it's going to be a series of relievers used by LA. Here's Chris Taylor bunting, and that's a good one. Bregman bare hands, he won't have a play. For those of you who are watching us on ESPN2, next there is Sports Center.
Designated hitter number 31, Jock Peterson.
Dodgers have runners at first and second with 1 gone, and an opportunity now for the DH tonight, Jock Peterson.
And speaking of Greinke, the 6-time Gold Glover, Matty, as you mentioned, something to watch if you're a hitter and if you're watching at home. You look at his lips, he'll mouth a lot of times what pitch he wants to throw. He'll tell the catcher. Literally, you can read his lips, fastball or curveball. Sometimes he'll give signs like he's the catcher to the catcher. So he'll say 4 or 2 or 1. And sometimes if he throws one in, he goes, "Watch out, get out of the way."
Peterson on the first pitch, bounces it to Toro to second for 1. Relay to first, in time to double him up. We'll see if the Dodgers want to take another look at it. A flashy double play on a tough chance gets Greinke out of trouble in the second.
The most difficult play to turn in baseball, the right-handed first baseman playing back to the shortstop 6, and then the moving target 1, and the 6-time Gold Glover looks like that former shortstop in high school. Dandy.
At 70 years old, you still got it. That's the one thing that impresses me the most about you. You still got the moves, bro. You got some Latino in you too, huh?
Oh yeah, I think so.
Dusty's one of the best. 71 years old and still has the flavor of a 31-year-old. But we have 2 Puerto Ricans, greatest, Kike and Carlos Correa, Mike today. Pretty cool.
Top half of the third. We'll be visiting with each of them a little bit later on tonight. Jack Mayfield leads things off for Houston. Mayfield and Springer and Bregman against a new pitcher for the Dodgers, as rookie left-hander Victor Gonzalez takes over this inning.
Fastball slider. Nothing fancy, coming right after you, right over the top.
Yes, he's a rookie, but certainly not new to the game. 7 minor league seasons with the Dodgers before finally getting an opportunity this year.
And a mix in a changeup against right-handers.
Jack Mayfield getting an opportunity to start tonight at second base. We talked about some of the manager decisions in terms of Aledmus Diaz, Yuli Gurriel not playing tonight. On the ground into the shift. T-Mobile is your ticket to the game in this week's Sunday night fan poll. And with the postseason just 2 weeks away, we thought it appropriate to take your temperature on the postseason. Who is the biggest challenger to the Dodgers in the National League? And 38% of you say it's the team that plays 2 hours south of here, the San Diego Padres.
They're coming, and they're exciting, and they're good, and they're playing with so much confidence.
Years where the Padres have really challenged the Dodgers are few and far between, as San Diego fans are well aware of. Here's George Springer now. There's a big 3-game series between the two teams that begins tomorrow. Again, San Diego's in the midst of that doubleheader right now with the Giants. They took game 1, and they're still tied 1 apiece. Actually, San Diego's just taken a 2-1 lead in the nightcap as Springer grounds out. I mean, you could almost list the years, Alex, where the Pods have been better than the Dodgers off the top of your head. 96, end of the season, last 3 games of the regular season, San Diego came to Dodger Stadium and swept 3 to win the NL West. In 98, of course, the Padres go to the World Series for just the 2nd time ever, but I mean, those are blips on the radar screen because that rivalry's been really one way.
84? Was that Cubs?
I would imagine 84, the Pods beat the Cubs in the NLCS, but I would imagine that they had a leg up on the Dodgers that year. Here's Alex Bregman now with 2 gone.
The Padres are coming for the Dodgers, right? You can feel it. the excitement level of that team, that city about this year's club, very high.
I mean, that's been a long drought in San Diego. They haven't even been postseason relevant since 2010, when they let a season-long division lead get away in the final weekend of the season. Dave Roberts knows all about the rivalry. He played down there the last time the Padres were in the postseason. It's a ball and a strike to Alex Bregman. Bregman struck out in the first inning against Brusdar Gratterall, one of 3 Astros to have that on their line. Astros fans are hopeful that last night, Alex, Bregman's game-winning RBI will snap him out of what's been kind of a season-long funk.
Yeah, and he was 0 for 11 coming off the IL onto that big hit in the 9th. And hopefully that's a good sign for things to come for him and the Astros.
Ooh. Hit hard into the left field corner. And that's going to bounce up and over the wall, take down a cutout, and land Bregman at second base.
Number 23, Michael Brantley.
3-1 pitch here. Fastball count, fastball swing. And that looks like the old compact swing by Bregman. One hit like last night, a big hit, can get a hitter going mentally. And this game is so much in your head. He looks a lot different today.
Here's a 4-time All-Star Michael Brantley now. He singled in the first. And that one bounces away from Smith. Free 90 feet on base for Bregman, who moves up to third.
And this is an impossible block for Will Smith. Missed his target by almost 6 feet. Now, if you're Brantley and you're in the box right now and you saw that pitch bounce and get to the backstop, you maybe eliminate that pitch and look fastball, and if the slider comes, you're going to look for it up. Another one like that, and it's a 1-1 game.
On the ground to the right side of the infield, Taylor to Bellinger to strand a base runner. Mookie bats second as we go to the bottom of the third in a 1-0 game. Baseball on ESPN telecast presented by Taco Bell. Back with Alex Rodriguez and Buster Olney, Matt Vasgersian. The Dodgers and the Astros 1-0 LA as LA bats in the bottom half of the third. It'll be Kike Hernandez, then the top of the order, Betts and Seager. And Kike's a 1-pitch out as he lifts a fly ball to right. In center, it's Miles Straw. Well, Mookie Betts has been a monster in his career. We'll tip our cap to the folks at Sesame Street. Yeah, he's the Mookie Monster. 2018, he was the best player on planet Earth. AL MVP and a World Series champ. Over the big picture, a 4-time All-Star, 4-time Gold Glover, 3-time Silver Slugger, makes a tasty appetite tray. Traded to the Dodgers and signed to a very big deal that'll keep him in LA until senior statehood.
Matty, to think that in 2013 he was the 31st best prospect of the Red Sox. He had no home runs and low A ball through the first half. And $365 million later, he's done just okay.
Bites on a Zach Greinke curveball, lifts it into left. I mean, you know, coming to Los Angeles, the pressure to try to justify the trade, and then the additional pressure to try to justify the mega contract. I mean, it didn't start out with Mookie hitting the ground running his first week as a Dodger. Didn't hit for power, but he has showed all the tools that everybody knew about since that first week.
It's interesting what the Red Sox couldn't do in 5 years, the Dodgers did in 5 months by committing to the superstar Mookie Betts. And he's trying to do exactly what another right field former MVP did for the 1988 Dodgers, was be the final piece to win the World Championship. And Kirk Gibson I'm talking about.
An MVP that year was Corey Seager. I mean, Mookie's career with the Dodgers started out a little more kumbaya than Gibby's back in '88 when in spring training somebody thought they'd goof on him. And they put eye black inside the brim of his cap. So Gibby took the cap off and he had stuff smeared all over his forehead. He didn't like it and they didn't like him initially.
Yeah.
No, it's been a quote Ringo Starr, it's been all peace and love for Mookie.
And I think Tommy Lasorda tried to calm him down. He said, Gibby, we're just having fun. He said, how about win some effing games?
That's right. Yeah, it was something like that. Yeah. Yeah, Gibby was intense. Great changeup to strikeout. Seager, vintage Greinke, and a quick 1-2-3 third. Still 1-0 Dodgers. Baseball presented by Taco Bell is brought to you by USAA, proud supporter of the military community. What you're made of, we're made of. Dusty Baker's a military man, and he is a former Dodger, and he is a baseball lifer, and he is one of our favorites, and he joins us on Sunday Night Baseball tonight. Hey, Dusty, 600 games as a player in this ballpark. You've managed over 100 games in this ballpark. Did you ever envision being here with no fans? Ground ball off the bat of Carlos Correa for Corey Seager, and there's one away.
Hey, Dusty, we were talking a little bit about and talking about Greinke, your guy, talking about expect the unexpected. 30 pitches in 3 innings, only 3 changeups. We were expecting to see more like 10 or 12 changeups. What do you see out there tonight?
Dusty, good to see you back in a Dodger dugout, if not in a Dodger uniform. But thanks for the visit, and we'll run you down a little bit later on this season. Thanks for the time.
Thanks, Dusty.
0-2 the count to Josh Reddick. You know, I also am pretty sure that Dusty Baker has not been at this ballpark on such a smoky day.
Indeed.
With the wildfires raging throughout the state of California, the air quality has been a big concern for folks up and down the state. In fact, we could talk to Kike Hernandez about that, who is kind enough to wear a microphone for us today. Kike, good evening. Is it smoky out on the field as it was yesterday? Yeah.
Kike, what's been the biggest, Alex Rodriguez here, what's been the biggest adjustment for you players? I thought you've done a phenomenal job with adjusting to all the new, basically the new rules. What's been the biggest difference for you?
15, Martin Maldonado.
You know, you guys have been so good, as you know, at home during this stretch of 7 consecutive division titles. People talk about home field advantage kind of disappearing with no fans. Do you still feel like there's an advantage for teams at home in baseball this year?
Well, especially for you guys, Kike, you guys have such a great fan base. You're drawing almost 4 million people the last 4 or 5 years. It's a loud stadium. We still hear the great music, but you must miss the fans a great deal. That's why we're here.
we're just trying to keep you involved.
Hey, Kike, wait a minute. What are you reading there? What are you reading there? No. Yeah, what was that in your hat? Is that your scouting report? All right. To be continued.
Hey, Kike, thanks for joining us, man. Go get him. Still 1-0 Dodgers. Cheer for your favorite team even when you're not at the ballpark. Now you can with MLB's Cheer at the Ballpark. Visit MLB.com/cheer for a full list of cheerable games and let your team hear your excitement from home. Now the Robinson family, lionized in cardboard cutout, Dodger and baseball royalty. Tommy Lasorda, Magic Johnson, same all throughout the ballpark. Hard to avoid the star power. A.J. Pollock leads things off against Zach Greinke. And speaking of star power, we've got Carlos Correa mic'd up and wearing an earpiece. Carlos, good evening to you. We're doing great. We're having fun watching you play this year. Fastball's in for a strike. It's 0-2. Okay. We're going to take your cues. Hey, I want to ask you, has Zach Greinke ever turned around and told you where to play defensively?
Carlos, I know one of the things you've been focusing on is staying healthy. I saw you made that beautiful play to your left. Very acrobatic. You stayed healthy this year. What are some of the things you've been working on to stay on the field and stay healthy?
Two balls and 2 strikes to A.J. Pollock. And Bregman's got him for out number 1.
The 13, Max Muncy.
Everybody always talks about big-bodied shortstops, Carlos, like you, eventually going over there where Bregman is right now. Is that something that's way down the road for you?
Oof.
Remember that.
Number 16, Will Smith.
2 quick outs with the bases empty here in the 4th.
Carlos, when you're into your weight training program, are you doing that pregame or postgame under these new kind of rules of engagement?
Ball and no strikes, the count to Will Smith. Smith sends a fly ball out to right. Real quick. Stay with us. We're going to have you do some play-by-play next half inning. We'll continue our visit with Carlos Correa as we go to the 5th. Cloud, create custom reels and search 3.5 million videos. Watch, create, share only at MLB.com/filmroom. The race for the postseason is on. Catch all the action from around the league online or on your favorite devices on MLB.tv. Now for only $24.99. Visit MLB.tv. Boy, no fans in the ballpark, but folks going to great lengths to see what's happening in Dodger Stadium tonight. We showed you some of the folks with signs razzing the Astros entering the ballpark earlier today. Another pitching change as Jake McGee takes over on the mound for the Dodgers, their 4th pitcher of the ball game. We continue visiting with Carlos Correa. And Carlos, we should ask you about that. The rivalry between the Dodgers and the Astros. There are a lot of words, a lot of stuff the last few years. Do you see the Dodgers as a rival, or is this just another opponent for you guys?
Carlos, what's been the biggest adjustment to play without any fans? Boy, Dodger Stadium is loud.
No fans, and they turn up that PA system. It's unreal. Swing and a miss by Abraham Toro, 1 gone.
Carlos, I was saying, yeah.
You know what? I think they turned it up on purpose.
I think so.
Okay.
What's been the most difficult challenge to play without fans?
Oh, and 1 the count to Miles Straw, batting with 1 gone and the bases empty in a 1-0 game. Well, I mean, we talked about this, Carlos, getting on the air, the fact that you guys have had injuries this year and you're 500, you're in 2nd place. That's good for a postseason spot. Verlander, possibly good news for him. Jose Altuve, good news for him coming back off. I mean, is the thought for you guys just let's get there and then it's a new season? Still the ball and 2 strikes to Miles Straw.
Carlos, how has it been to play for Dusty Baker?
I mean, I couldn't think of a more perfect person than Dusty Baker to come in and manage the Astros, given some of the controversy and some of the back page stuff that's happened there the past couple of years, and we certainly don't need to get into it, but Dusty is probably the best man on planet Earth to have come in and said, hey, this is a new season. Let's go to work fresh. It was a bad question, actually. I just pretty much made a statement. It wasn't much of a question. Shot into right that's handled by Betts. Yeah. Hey, Carlos, it's good, man. Thank you for joining us. I know that it's kind of hard to communicate. We're having a little tech problem, but thank you for being with us, and good luck the rest of the way. Two gone, bases empty now for Jack Mayfield. Yeah, I mean, the point on Dusty, and would have loved to have gotten Carlos's take, but again, we're having a little audio communication problem with him. Look, if ever there was somebody that was going to be able to turn the page on a unseemly chapter in franchise history, it's Dusty Baker, because the angry mob that is on social media, the angry mob that can sometimes be the actual baseball media. You sit down with Dusty, he's going to charm you with a couple of stories about playing as a young guy with Hank Aaron. He's going to look you in the eye and give you an honest answer, and you're going to say, okay, the Astros deserve a fresh start. Side retired in order by Jake McGee, and a still 1-0 Dodger lead. Season at MLBShop.com. Check out new on-field jerseys by Nike, plus get official caps, tees, collectibles, and more. Gear up at MLBShop.com. Zach Greinke goes to work on Cody Bellinger, Chris Taylor, and Jock Peterson in the home half of inning number 5. 1-0 Los Angeles. The A.J. Pollock 2-out homer, the only scoreboard dent so far tonight. Bellinger singled in his first plate appearance tonight, but the drop-off in OPS is really kind of the thing that jumps out most about Cody's line this year. The largest decline in Major League Baseball in OPS from 2019 to this year. Buster, is there concern among the Dodgers over that?
Well, I've heard from evaluators, Matt. You mentioned the first time he came to the plate about how close he is to the plate. And they've noticed this year he has really struggled on pitches ending inner third of the plate. You see that dramatic drop in average from 326 last year to 079.
That's going to be a base hit. He's got 2 infield singles tonight. Continue, Buster.
Yeah, and Matt, you see the tremendous drop in power numbers on pitches in the inner third of the plate. 674 slugging percentage last year. This year he doesn't have an extra base hit on a ball in the inner third of the plate. In particular, he has really struggled against fastballs. So folks with other teams are kind of wondering if he would benefit from maybe moving away from the plate a little bit and giving himself a better chance.
And I like that, Buster. He's been playing a little billiards with 2 Q shots, base hits tonight. But his in is also the fastballs. Last year hitting 326 on fastballs. This year 220.
Alex, one thing I heard about him too, people talked about how unusual a hitter he is and that he's not someone who has necessarily mechanics you would teach players. He's more of a rhythm hitter. He uses his hands a lot, and they wonder if it's hurting him standing that close to the plate.
Yeah, I like giving myself some room. If you think about the great, power hitters, whether going back to Willie Stargell or Darryl Strawberry, from the right-hand side, Dale Murphy, I had long arms, Derek Jeter, you need room to maneuver. And even though he's 2 for 2, it's been 2 bad swings that have been rewarded for hits. But we'll show you a replay here in the upcoming innings to illustrate what I'm talking about. Because you're on top of the plate, you have no choice but to cheat on the fastball. Because you're hitting 220, it's on your mind and you're going to bail out. And when that hip and that shoulder flies to the first base dugout, you're in trouble. Your head goes with it.
Two balls and no strikes. The count to Chris Taylor. Bellinger will steal a base on you, by the way. 6 for 6 in that category this year. Taylor with an excuse me swing, a little flare that'll drop into fair territory. Bellinger into third. 2 accidental hits against Zach Greinke here have opened the 5th. And they're both very aware of that fact.
I mean, you can't make it up. A little billiard shot to third base and a little, check swing double. And Greinke's got to be shaking his head.
Number 31, Jock Peterson.
I mean, if he doesn't make contact, it's probably a ball.
Yes.
Yeah, they're aware.
Taylor, opposite field blast last night, opposite field bloop tonight.
So now Jock Peterson stands the opportunity to drive him in with nobody out. Peterson grounded into the inning-ending double play with runners at first and second and 1 gone in the second inning. Jock back after taking some time away. He and his wife celebrating the birth of their 2nd child. Congratulations to the Petersons. Two runners in scoring position for him with nobody out. I think you're on board with this, Alex, too. We celebrate exit velocity so often these days in baseball. The exit velocities of the 2 hits against Greinke this inning. Bellinger's was 57 miles an hour. Taylor's 69.1.
I like it. Now, we talked about Dusty Baker. How important is this game to Dusty Baker and the Astros? Look where the infield is playing. There's a very unconventional move by Baker, playing the infield in with no outs and man on second and third.
Very unconventional mound visit there mid-count, especially 0-2 with Correa and Maldonado gathering on the mound with Greinke.
Yeah. And the risky part is a routine ground ball is now a base hit, and it's 3-0.
Wow. Dotted the corner with a changeup, didn't get the call.
Yeah, man, in the mound visit, and this is a pitch, the pitch we're talking with Ted Barrett that sometimes he misses. I thought he did a nice job there. Perfect pitch by Greinke. Great call by Barrett. But that mound visit was all about the signs and making sure that there's no relaying going on signs.
Oh, there was the 53-mile-an-hour curveball. Oh, Buster, it's a delight.
I love it. 52 miles per hour.
He's got a thing with Brent Strom, his excellent pitching coach. He throws that for a strike, it's $100.
Well, that's a setup pitch. You're usually trying to slow somebody down, and you can expect maybe a heater here. Maybe a heater up in the zone, about 90 miles an hour.
Grounded to the drawn-in second baseman. That keeps everybody at bay, and there's 1 gone.
And playing the infield in, a very, very aggressive play by Dusty Baker. is rewarded.
I want to get back
Alex,
to
in
that.
situations like this, how much of a difference does it make to have a great fielding pitcher like Greinke in terms of thought process? Because Dusty was interesting before the game. He said he almost feels like Greinke throws particular pitches to generate ground balls back to him.
Yeah, absolutely, and Maddox did that a little bit. And look, that was the hardest ball hit, and is the only out of the inning.
Here's Kike Hernandez now. He flied to center in his first at bat. I want to get back to that 54-mile-an-hour curveball, that eephus pitch, if you will. Brent Strom told me that not only does he think that Zach Greinke is the best control artist he's ever had, and Brent's had a lot of good ones, including Dallas Keuchel. He said that curveball is a pitch that was born out of a bet. $100 whenever he throws a curveball for a strike under 60 miles an hour. And Brent's had to pay it a couple times. Sharply hit through the hole on the left side. It scores Bellinger. Here's Taylor around to score. And it's 3-0 Los Angeles.
And that's the recourse for playing the infield in. What should have been a routine ground ball turns into a base hit with 2 RBIs. And there it is. When you move the infield in, you turn a 200 hitter into 300, 300 into 400. Dodgers 3, Astros 0.
Yeah, 3 hits in the inning, to your point, Alex, and the hardest contact was the only out of the inning.
Indeed.
So now it's the top of the order. Mookie Betts, who's 0 for 2 so far tonight. Mookie's reached base safely in 12 consecutive games, hit safely in 14 of his last 16, 0 for 2 tonight. Fastball for a strike. Oh, and 2 the count to Betts. You know, Zach Greinke has some very unusual numbers at this ballpark. In his 4 years as a Dodger, 3 years as a Dodger, that is, he won 51 games. But since coming back here as a visitor, you can see it there on the scoreboard, Bug. 1-4, a 7.41 ERA as a visiting pitcher here after leaving the Dodger uniform. So we asked Dave Roberts about that. What is it? Is it intel because you're familiar with him? Is it matchups? Is it coincidence? And Dave gave us an all of the above type answer.
And especially the one I would highlight there, Matty, is familiarity. The more you know a pitcher, the more you know him in the clubhouse. You go have dinner, you have drinks, you get into his head. You can mind map someone. That just converts into comfort when you're in the box against them.
Betts sends a fly ball, well hit out to right field. Springer's back at the wall, and it's gone! For Mookie Betts, his 3rd career home run against Zach Greinke in 5 at-bats.
And a mistake here by Greinke, 0-2. Little changeup, 86 miles an hour. Inside out swing by Betts. 0-2 converts into a 2-run homer for the Dodgers. And Springer almost gets it, upset with himself. He wants that one back.
Here's Corey Seager now, who's hitless tonight. He's made a lot of these catches in his career.
He sure had, and he just mistimed the wall a little bit. That's why he's a little bit upset with himself.
I think the fans interfered. Mookie's 15th as a Dodger. Seager chases a changeup.
And for Mookie, 3 home runs on 5 at-bats against Zach Greinke.
Two balls and a strike. Two and two to Corey Seager, who has turned himself into a very good 2-strike hitter this year, and that hasn't always been the case for Corey. In 2-strike counts, Seager is batting almost 300 this year, 4th highest among major league qualifiers. He entered the year as a career 186 2-strike hitter. Full count to him now.
And that's a huge improvement, Matty. I mean, that's a sign of maturity. It's a sign of confidence. It's a sign of a very smart hitter making some adjustments. That's the difference between good and great.
Full count pitch to Corey Seager. And a curveball that's hit hard out into the corner and right. And it'll bound up over the wall for a ground rule double.
And in the 3-2 pitch here, he gets a slow breaking ball, mid-70s. It just rolls for a double. And it goes back to what Doc Roberts told us before the game. Greinke would throw 35% fastballs. All the damage tonight has been on breaking balls. So great coaching by Roberts and the staff, looking at the data and the analytics and putting it to play in a very tangible way.
Kind of wonder how much gas is left in the tank as Zach Greinke, Brent Strom out to chat with him. Runner in scoring position. Only one gone in the inning. Christian Javier's up in the bullpen for Houston. This is where it gets a little wonky for the Astros. The bullpen has been a big part of their struggles this year. I mean, they were without their projected opening day bullpen like 10 days into the season. Most of those guys landed on the shelf. And it's been a series of major league debuts and expected contributions from players that they never expected to be here this year to try to patch the holes. And it appears that we're getting closer to seeing that Astros bullpen tonight. A.J. Pollock is homered tonight. Little pop into shallow left, and there are 2 away.
Some tough luck for Greinke. He feels he's pitched good enough this inning to be back in the dugout with 2 check swings, base hit to lead off the inning. But the psychology of last night's game plays into tonight. And they went in 5-2 into the 9th. If you're the Astros, you say, let's keep it close, fellas, because we know we got this in the 9th.
Max Muncy is the 8th Dodger to bat in the inning. Hitless in the series with 3 strikeouts. He can make a really good hitter chase that changeup all day long.
And that's why he's tougher on lefties. Here's a changeup that just dives away from Muncy.
master of improvisation, Zach Greinke. And then comes back with a fastball on the corner. You know, it's interesting, too. I asked Brent Strom about this. How does a guy have success without the kind of velocity separation between his fastball and his change? I mean, Greinke's like 6 or 7 miles an hour difference. Not much of a separation. And Strom's answer was his velocity separation is on his location. So if he crowds you with that pitch, it appears firmer than its actual velocity. And then the big dipsy-do curveball. Not before the damage is done. Mookie Monster eating well at home tonight. And it's 5-0 LA. Look back at tonight's Corona premier moments. Mookie Betts with another 2-strike homer, his 7th of the year, number 15 as a Dodger, capping off a 4-run inning in the bottom of the 5th. That makes it 5-0 Dodgers. We are so pleased to have Justin Turner mic'd on with us today as he gets himself healthy. Hey, how's the hammy feeling? How you feeling out there, big boy? You know, there are cameras everywhere, as you're very aware, as George Springer leads things off in the 6th. We saw you running today before the game. And, I mean, I got to say, your gait looked pretty good. Looked like you were free and easy out there today. Is there a date for you to come off the IL?
Hey, JT, we're seeing Mookie going off again. What has he meant to your team this year? George Springer has just sent one over the wall against Dodger reliever Dylan Floro, and Houston is on the board on a solo homer here in the 6th.
Third baseman Alex Bregman.
And Springer, who almost took a 2-run home run away from Betts, now chips in with his home run. A little cutter, 89 miles an hour, staying behind it. Good swing, head down. And when George Springer hits the ball to the big part of the field, that's when he's at his best.
Here's Alex Bregman now, 5-1 Dodgers, as Floro starts him with a slider for a strike. Hey, Justin, while we have you, we want to ask you about your foundation. You are very active in a philanthropic sense in Los Angeles. As we mentioned earlier on the telecast, you are this year's Dodger Clemente Award nominee. Your foundation, founded in 2016 with your wife Courtney, supports homeless vets, children battling life-altering illness and disease, youth baseball. You're very active with that. And you, I know at Christmas time, provide toys for kids in the LA area. Is that something you do during the season, or is this off-season only for you?
Fielder Michael Brantley.
Yeah, JT, I think that's one thing the Dodgers and you guys don't get enough credit. I mean, you may lead the league in humanitarians between Kershaw, yourself, Mookie. I guess good citizenship is contagious, just like good hitting. So keep up the good work.
Hey, I want to ask you about the Astros while we have you just for another moment here, because obviously there's a lot of baggage here, lots to unpack between the Dodgers and Astros. Are you guys, is that still fresh on your minds, or is this just another opponent for you guys now? Oh, 0-1 the count to Carlos Correa, and it's a ball and a strike now. Here's my next question. How does a guy get a tequila made in his honor as you have? Good stuff, man. Justin, thanks for the visit. Hope to see you back on the field soon, and good luck the rest of the year. Oh, he didn't hear you. I'm watching Sunday Night Baseball on ESPN. Telecast presented by Taco Bell. The 51st season of Monday Night Football kicks off with the annual Week 1 doubleheader. Big Ben and the Steelers taking on Saquon Barkley and the Giants 7 Eastern. Then after that one's over, it's off to Denver for the Titans and Broncos. Both games on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Special edition of Monday Night Countdown kicks off coverage at 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific. That is for those of you who didn't get eliminated in your survivor pool by taking the Colts tonight. Ouch, babe. Christian Javier takes over on the mound for the Astros here in the home half of inning number 6. 23-year-old rookie right-hander. One of a number of rookie relievers to debut in Houston this year. Javier making his 10th appearance of the year, his second in relief, 8 starts this season, pressed into duty based on a variety of injury circumstances. There's good news in that front, though. Lance McCullers is coming back as well. We talk about some of the positives on the horizon for Houston. Not only Lance McCullers, but I guess there is real sentiment, Buster, that Justin Verlander is going to give it a go, and he's going to try to pitch this season.
That's right. He threw 65 pitches yesterday. When we talked to Dusty Baker before the game, he said next outing probably 75-80 pitches, and at that point you're probably going to see the Astros try to line him up for a start in the regular season. And a date that makes a lot of sense potentially is September 24th. If Verlander can start on that day, then he could potentially be in line to start game 1 of the postseason. This is someone who has so much postseason experience. And Dusty Baker talked about how not having Verlander around the team with all these young pitchers has been a negative. Like, he would love to have Verlander being able to mentor some of the pitchers on the staff, Matt.
2-2 to Will Smith is hit in the air out to right field. Springer on the run, foul territory, and running out of room. Yeah, you know, they have a plan, Buster. The Astros feel like if they can get Verlander back and get into the big dance, and again, right now as it stands, they'd be a postseason team. They'd play Oakland in their wild card round matchup if the standings were to remain as they are right now. And they feel like they can use some of their starting pitchers in relief the same way they did during their World Series run in 2017 when Lance McCullers and Brett Peacock were such tremendous weapons for them. But again, they are dealing with some notable injury absences, and it's not going to be easy for them by any stretch. Full count.
You know, if you're the Houston Astros, bad news hopefully is behind you. You have Bregman back, Verlander around the corner, and all of a sudden you're saying in a short sprint, we know how to win. We have nothing to lose. Let's go. I like their chances.
Full count pitch to Will Smith. Off the end of the bat, out to right for a base hit.
What's he gonna chase? The slider? Nah. The changeup? Oh, I've got it. Curveball. Never halfway.
Hankook Tire.
Leadoff hitter aboard now for Cody Bellinger, who has 2 infield singles on his line tonight. 5-1 Los Angeles. The Dodgers got a run early on the A.J. Pollock homer. 4 in the 5th, capped by the 2-run homer by Mookie Betts. Houston countering on the Springer shot in the 6th inning. And as somebody may tease Cody Bellinger after the game, hey, really knocking the snot out of the ball today.
No pride, no pride.
Woo! There's a big exit velo swing.
And when the helmet comes flying off, you see him bailing out. Too much movement, too erratic, and too much tension. And Buster, you talk about how close he is to the plate. You see this view right here. To me, that's way too close. It induces an out movement, bailing. And you see that right there. Every take, he's falling away. He's falling away. Anytime a helmet comes off, that's a bad thing. You are supposed to have a very calm and still head. And look at the move. Boom. He's wide open. And that ball is almost a strike. Just focus on his right hip.
Take 4.
And watch his first move going out. And another problem is.
Take 5, ready 1. Take 1.
You'll see where his weight is here, Matty. He's on his heels.
Roll.
He's leaning back with the rocking chair. And then he almost falls over every time. I like to see his weight in the balls of his feet. Give himself some more room and lean into the plate. Lou Piniella would always teach us, lean that shoulder out over the plate where you can control it.
I like when you do your Lou Piniella impression, though.
I said, son, you got to get off the plate. You got to lean in a little bit and go and hit a ball to right center field with the game in the line.
I mean, it's just as much Chief Wiggum from The Simpsons as it is Lou Piniella.
25. Take 25.
2 balls and 2 strikes to Bellinger.
But if you focus on Bellinger, you'll see him starting to lean back as the ball's coming to the plate. And the harder they throw, the more he leans back. Watch right here. You see that? And he can't see that pitch. Even though it was a ball, it looks like a pitch out to Bellinger. And that's probably the first pitch Teddy Barrett's missed today because he's had a fantastic game. But there's a backdoor curveball. He just can't see it.
Dissolve.
Because his head is in the first
disc.
base dugout. It's too far.
And roll disc dissolve.
And you have all your energy going away, away, away.
Ready, B.
Ooh, there it is.
Roll B.
You see where his energy is?
Dissolve. Ready with
Well,
11.
I'll jump in with the glass
11.
half full perspective on Cody Bellinger. I know you agree with me on this.
Ready 4.
The Dodgers have the best record in
Take
baseball,
4.
and the reigning National
Freeze
League
the pick.
MVP is hitting .212. That's how good they are.
You talk about
Ready 11,
money
take
wins.
11.
I mean, they're a factory of talent, the Dodgers. You look at the Brewers. Yelich is struggling a little bit. The Brewers tank. Their best player, their MVP, he's having a tough start. And guess what? Mookie Betts says, I got it. Dodgers have never flown higher.
Yep. Did you see Gavin Lux coming out of the
Ready
dugout
4.
there?
Take 4.
He was just telling somebody that ball that they rung up Bellinger on was a good few inches
Johnny
off
Lee.
the corner.
And how does he know
Ready
that?
3. Take 3.
Somebody probably gave it to him.
And that's the first thing you
Ready
do, Matty.
5.
When you take a pitch like that, you go see the first teammate that comes out of the tunnel and say, was that a strike or a ball? No matter what they tell you, you're still mad.
Yeah. I mean, look, Cody Bellinger is way too talented, way too good to stay hitting, 212 for very much longer. You feel like the best is yet to come this year for him. He's capable of doing things with the bat in his hands that not many are capable of.
I mean, Matty, I've never been more bullish on Bellinger. This young man is 25 years old, and he's only going to get better.
By the way, there was a balk called on Christian Javier that got Smith to second. And, yeah, that's the ball off the corner.
You know, you play 46, 47 games in a regular season. You say, oh, that's a bad start. In 2020 is a bad year.
Counts a ball and 2 strikes on Chris Taylor. Lively fastball passed through.
Here's the good news in Dodgerland. All you worry about is how well you play in October. Bellinger's been terrific early on, and he's closed slow. This is maybe the opposite. He starts slow, and he ends like a world champion.
Well, there's 29 other teams that would love to have a guy struggling like that.
Absolutely. And I like to see that. Just the smile. He's got so much talent. He's surrounded with unbelievable talent. And you can't say enough about what Andrew Friedman, the president of the Dodgers, has done. I mean, they have it all rolling.
Here's Jock Peterson now with 2 gone.
He's also, Matt, a lot like Mookie in that even if Cody Bellinger isn't hitting well, he's going to bring a lot to the table because he's so good defensively and he runs the bases so effectively that through slumps, they still got to have him in the lineup because he's one of the best players in baseball.
Great point.
Yeah, Buster, and to your point, they're not looking at stats. They're looking at the former MVP. And these pitchers have a very, very long memory. And they know what he's capable of doing.
0-2 the count to Jock Peterson. Will Smith, the runner in scoring position with 2 gone. It's a leadoff single, a strikeout, a balk, and then another strikeout for Christian Javier. You know, one of the big differences statistically between the Astros and Dodgers this year is in the way their hitters work the count. LA gets up there and battles, and when they get into longer counts, and that is pitches of counts of 5 or more pitches, they lead baseball in OPS. The Astros see 3.7 pitches per plate appearance, the fewest in baseball. And you know, here's Peterson, who got behind early 0-2, but he's battling. He'll see a fifth pitch coming up next.
Matty, that's a great point. Last week, when the Astros played the Oakland A's, they made 10 outs in 23 pitches.
Again, that is the postseason matchup awaiting Houston should everything stay the same for the next 2 weeks of the season. The Astros and A's would play in that wild card round. And that's not been a good draw for Houston this year. Oakland has handled them. Swing and a miss by Peterson. Nothing comes of that runner in scoring position. We're heading to the 7th inning in LA tonight with the Dodgers on top by 4.
That was nice. And a double, not a single. 99 on the bat.
Carlos Correa playing with enthusiasm and joy, as is always the case, despite the scoreboard showing a deficit for his Astros. A pitching change, another in a series for Los Angeles tonight. So far, so good with the Johnny Holstaff night, as the veteran left-hander Alex Wood takes over to get the 7th. He faces Josh Reddick, Martin Maldonado, and Abraham Toro.
He's got a fastball, slider, and a circle change, and survives by being funky.
Tough matchup here for Josh Reddick. Lefty at bat to begin the 7th. Reddick, a Dodger for a short time in his long, productive major league career. Did he check it? He did, and it's 2-2. Josh, one of a number of veteran Astros in a walk year this season. Sends a fly ball in the infield for Seager.
Did you just reward yourself for spending a perfectly reasonable amount of time on the couch with tacos from Grubhub? Grubhub is going to reward you for that with a $5 off perk. Grubhub!
One gone for Martin Maldonado. How much is there, Alex, when we talk about the Astros matching up with Oakland in a postseason series? How much can you draw from their regular season series in terms of predicting a postseason series? Because Houston did not hit against Oakland this year. 10 games, they hit .205 against Oakland pitching. Does that even apply to the postseason?
I don't think so with a veteran team like the Astros. You know, it's a little base hit there. When we think about what Dusty Baker told us earlier this afternoon is not only do they miss Verlander and Bregman from what they do physically on the field, but they also miss them what they do in the dugout and what they also how they manage that clubhouse. And you go to Oakland with your full arsenal, it's a whole different feeling. And this is a team that's already won on the road. They won right here in this stadium a world championship in California. Now, if you're a young team and you've struggled and then you go back, I think it has a big influence.
Oh, and 1 the count to Abraham Toro.
Oh,
and that one clips him on the elbow. Well, speaking of the AL postseason picture in the Oakland A's, who will be playing without Matt Chapman, who went through season-ending hip surgery. What a huge blow that is to the A's. Oakland is still the team to beat in the West, but Tampa Bay and the White Sox and the Twins have both passed him in the win total so far. That's your postseason picture in the American League. Tampa Bay would have, actually it's the White Sox with the top spot that would get the 8th seed. Again, 1st and 2nd place qualify automatically. 7th and 8th spots in the postseason dance go to the next best records regardless of division. 2 runners aboard now for Miles Straw.
Chicago White Sox, what a great story. young players, loaded with talent. It's been fun to watch them.
You know, some hope for Astros fans as we talk about a potential postseason matchup with Oakland. Thinking about the Dodgers' last World Series appearance, their last World Series title, that is, in 1988. They lost 10 out of 11 games to the Mets in the regular season that year and then beat them in the NLCS. So, yeah, to your point, I'm not sure if regular season matchups are as meaningful as people would like to think. That's a tough take. 2-1. Two balls and two strikes to Miles Straub. Last night, it looked like the Astros were en route to their 9th loss in 10 games on this road trip. And then they got the 5 in the 9th against Jansen and snatched one back. Very similar circumstances tonight.
And as a hitter, the first thing you focus on is release point. And where's that release point? And you focus on that. And with this funky delivery, you never get a good look at the pitch. A lot of movement. Elbows and knees.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Wood back for a second tour in Los Angeles. This ballpark is a place where Alex has had a lot of professional success, both as a Brave and as a Dodger. In fact, he refined his repertoire here as an Atlanta Brave, courtesy of Johnny Venters, a former Atlanta teammate. Full count now, 3-2 to Miles Straub. Saw Caleb Ferguson up in the bullpen for Los Angeles. They've got 5 lefties in the Dodger bullpen. And Straw sends a fly ball out to right. 2 gone.
Matty, you were talking about similar situations earlier. This is the exact reverse of the World Series. Game 7, same ballpark, same score. Other team is winning.
Was Game 7 5-1? Did it finish 5-1?
It didn't finish, but it got to 5-1.
It got to 5-1. Game 7, I remember Game 7 so vividly because there just was never the home sense. The Dodger crowd never had a chance to get into it. It just wasn't. It was almost anticlimactic. It always feels that way when the road team wins a Game 7. But back in 2017, again, like Kershaw was so dominant in Game 1, it looked like the Dodgers were going to roll. Then the Marwin Gonzalez homer against Kenley Jansen in Game 2. The games in Houston were a circus with all the comebacks and offensive heroics on both sides. And then Game 7 was kind of ho-hum.
Yeah, and it did finish 5-1, and it started with Springer right off the gates. And what they were saying, Matt, is that they thought the Houston Astros hitters thought they had picked up something on Darvish pitches on his glove. They thought they had it like in Game 3. They knew they had it in Game 7. So when you have those 4 or 5 days and you have Carlos Beltran and you have all those smart hitters, I mean, right out of the gates, they came out and the game was over by the bottom of the first.
There are a lot of Dodger fans that would think otherwise of that assessment. We're never going to know. We're never going to know what really happened.
Matt, I don't know if you heard this, but there are at least 4 books that I've heard that are in the works.
Really?
Talking about the sign stealing scandal, as well as one documentary.
Strikeout ends the threat. 2 left stranded. Everybody loves baseball traditions, so stay tuned for the 7th inning stretch, brought to you by Jim Beam. Take a look at the Geico game track. The LA Dodgers have added 2 more to their major league leading team home run total. Homers by Mookie Betts and A.J. Pollock, a part of a 5-1 lead. LA has bullpenned nicely tonight. They've used 6 pitchers to get through the current stage of the game, where they bat in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Kike Hernandez leads it off. Christian Javier out there for a 2nd inning of relief for Houston.
Ready 1.
Hernandez, Betts, and Seager for Los Angeles.
Take 5.
This has been the stage of the game where the last few years the Dodgers have really separated from the pack. And this year's no different.
Take 4 clean.
Between innings 7 and 9, they have hit a major league leading 26 home runs.
In that dugout. Ready 7. Take 7. Just a pan of the team.
Feasting on bullpens.
Johnny, ready 11. Take 11. Ready 4.
I mean, the Dodgers are so deep. I believe their alternate team can probably make the playoffs.
Oh, the alternate training site here?
Hitters mostly. Ready 1.
I don't know, though. You know, and I agree with you. They are the deepest team in baseball. They've got the best record in baseball. But there's a part of a 3-game series that's scary.
Especially if you go up against a hot pitcher.
Take 4.
There's no home field advantage.
Yeah, that's right. Even though all the games will be played at the higher seeds home field. No fans, no advantage there.
Take 3.
Still 1 and 2 to Hernandez.
I think Dave Roberts agrees with you, Matt, after what he told us today. When we asked him about the first round being a best of 3, he said flatly he doesn't like it.
And Buster, you look at a game like last night, in complete control, dominating 5-2. And Kenley Jansen can't get one out in the 9th. That still has to be a concern for the Dodgers because ultimately, to win a championship, you have to have a back end, and you especially have to have a closer.
Yeah.
Well, Dave was very candid with us before the game today, talking about how they are supportive of Kenley. They need him to be at his best. He is their guy. But at some point, performance does factor into the mix.
Yeah, Robert said in the press conference last night after the game that his body felt good, but his body language wasn't good. And when you saw him walking off the mound, you saw a defeated warrior. And you just want to make sure for the next few weeks, they build him up mentally, physically, because they need the big guy there, and they need him mentally to know that he can do it.
Take 4.
0-1 the count to Mookie Betts.
Ready 7.
Well, and Matt, if you remember at the end of last year, Kenley Jansen struggled for a time, and Dave Roberts basically announced that, look, we're going to look at other options. That's exactly what I think we're going to see down the stretch and into the postseason. If Kenley doesn't throw better, then guys like Blake Treinen are going to come into the conversation to close out games.
Well, Buster, and Roberts has shown that you're putting your former MVP, Cody Bellinger, hitting 6. He's basically saying whoever comes to the table and brings the most value is going to get the most light. And he's done it with Bellinger. I don't see why he wouldn't do it with Jensen. Dodgers are here to win, period.
The next 1-2 to Betts, misses up high.
You know, Matty, the Dodgers haven't had a lot of big games this year because they've been so dominant. But if you're a Dodger fan, there's 2 games that you circle on that schedule, and are the 2 here at home at Dodger Stadium with the Astros. So if you're going to blow a game, last night wasn't the one you wanted to blow, unfortunately.
And Betts is caught looking at a fastball.
Right now, switch to T-Mobile and get 4 lines of unlimited for just $25 a line, with access to America's largest 5G included. That's right, unlimited and nationwide 5G for the whole family for just $25 a line. Only at T-Mobile.
2 gone, bases empty now for Corey Seager, who has doubled, 3 for 7 in the series after homering yesterday. In a lineup filled with past and future MVPs, it may be that Corey Seager has been the most valuable Dodger this year, with all due respect to Mookie Betts. .319 batting average to lead the team. Started the night even with Betts in RBIs with 33. Betts is a 2-run homer tonight. 0-1 to Seager, is into the opposite corner and run down by Brantley to retire the side. On to the 8th inning in a still 5-1 Los Angeles lead. To Major League Baseball is presented by Taco Bell. Order ahead and pick up your favorites at our contactless drive-thru. It's become an LA landmark like the Hollywood sign in Grauman's Chinese Theater. The Joe Kelly Pouty Lips mural. In fact, it's such an attraction that Joe himself brought the family out to recreate the face. Oh, Buster, you know Joe Kelly pretty well. The sense of humor is right on point with that guy.
Oh, and I think it's appropriate that his wife was there, because when Joe explained where the pouty face came from, he talked about how his wife gives it to him in the morning when he starts to complain and whine, and she's like, oh, poor Joe. And so he was using her expression.
Caleb Ferguson is the newest Dodger to pitch in this one. He is the 7th Dodger to see the mound tonight. Of course, that was directed at Carlos Correa back earlier in the season, the 2-game series in Houston, after Kelly famously buzzed the tower a couple times and it touched off a bench clearing incident. Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Springer. I don't know if you saw it on social media, Alex, but I mean, people are lining up in Los Angeles to take photos in front of the Joe Kelly Pouty Lips mural.
Yeah, I mean, look, people are upset. They continue to be upset. I think Justin Turner was very candid. He said this is something that we can never forget. And I've heard him say things like that. And it's something that I would say the whole student body, like you've heard players from everywhere chiming in, whether it's interviews or social media. And if you're the Astros, all you can do is own it, fix it, and move on.
It's a thing now, Mike. Look, I spent a lot of years in Los Angeles, and there used to be this drive from the campus at the University of Southern California up to Tommy's Burgers, and you'd pass all these landmarks. There was a gas station where the Partridge Family bus was parked on the side, the actual Partridge Family bus. You went by a brownstone building where there was a photograph from a Led Zeppelin album cover. And then a little farther up was the car wash from the movie Car Wash.
Wow.
So there's all these photo ops along the way to Tommy's Burgers. You'd have to detour to get to the Joe Kelly mural, but that's now on the route. 2 balls and 2 strikes from Caleb Ferguson.
You go to Hollywood to become a star. And Joe Kelly now is a big star.
He's a star. Challenge fastball, fouled back.
Hey guys, and Matt, forgive me, I can't remember if you mentioned this. Joe Kelly currently serving that 5-game suspension from that incident that happened early this year. From what I understand, he's watching the game from home.
Oh, right on. I had not mentioned that and was remiss for missing that. Very important detail, so thanks for cleaning us up as always. And a ground ball that's handled for out number 1. Wednesday baseball tripleheader for you. Dodgers and Padres, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Mets and Phillies, and finally Diamondbacks and Angels. Next Sunday, 2 series finales for you. Giants and A's. And then Alex, Buster, and I'll have the Twins and Cubs at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the ESPN app. Of course, the Cubs were the toast of the baseball town today with Alec Mills throwing a no-hitter against the Milwaukee Brewers.
Matty, what I loved about that game for Mills, 114 pitches, only 5 swing and misses. .114 with 5 swing and misses. You can still pitch with good sequences and missing barrels, keeping hitters off balance. I love that. I mean, when you have a no-hitter, usually you have 15, 20, 25 swing and misses. 5 and a no-hitter, exceptional.
Boy, and a guy in Alec Mills who walked onto his college team, was never considered a prospect. He was drafted late, traded, injured. What a terrific story from a very unlikely candidate. Congratulations to Alec Mills. It gets you to thinking big picture, too. With minor league baseball disappearing this year, guy who was a non-prospect like Alec Mills, like where does the future Alec Mills even have a chance to play before getting a chance to get to the big leagues?
That's a great point.
Highest fastball velocity today for Alex Mills, this according to our Jesse Rogers, 91 miles per hour.
Oh.
There's a place for those outliers with all these guys throwing 98 miles an hour.
No doubt.
Paying attention to his teammate Kyle Hendricks.
Ball and 2 strikes to Alex Bregman.
And there is a difference between a pitcher and a thrower. And when a guy's just a thrower, we call him a rock thrower. And it's hard to count with throwers. You win with pitchers and the art of pitching.
Curveball that's hit on the ground is shortstop for Seager. Hey Buster, here's an unrehearsed, and I'm kind of, I don't know, I'm kind of freewheeling this now. I could be wrong, but can you name another Cubs pitcher to have thrown a no-hitter at Miller Park?
Oh boy.
And I'll give you a little hint.
Okay.
He threw it against one of the teams that's on the field at Dodger Stadium tonight.
Jake Arrieta. No?
Carlos Zambrano no-hit the Astros at Miller Park, if you'll recall, in a weird confluence of circumstances that had them making up a game down I-94 at Miller Park as the home team. Moses, if I'm wrong on that, zap me.
A lot of twists and turns to that question, Matty.
You know, with the Astros on the field, a no-hitter by a Cub, I'm pretty sure that happened. I have a way of imagining things sometimes, but I'm pretty sure that took place.
It's like a New York Times crossword puzzle.
Just think of the right answer, and it'll be right. When's the last time you tackled the New York Times crossword puzzle?
Decades.
Yeah, no chance for me.
No chance.
No way.
He sat next to Mike Messina and watched him do it.
And now Mike did it every day. You know, Buster, the other guy that attacked the New York Times, there is a few. I believe Keith Hernandez, maybe David Cohn.
Yes.
Let me see. I believe Albert Bell. They jump off the page because when you see someone do it every day, you never forget.
Is this how we pivoted off of my trivia question?
Yeah, when we don't know the answer.
By the way, we got
pivot.
We got confirmation that actually did happen. Carlos Zambrano no-hit the Astros at Miller Park due to Hurricane Ike.
Ooh.
They had to play at Miller Park instead of in Houston. Caleb Ferguson with a 1-2-3 eighth. Heading to the bottom of the inning, and it's still 5-1 LA lead.
See A.J. Pollock there. Well, in the middle of March, his wife Kate was in her 6 months of pregnancy, and she suddenly went into labor. And on March 19th, she gave birth to their daughter Maddie at 1 pound and 6 ounces. She was premature, and of course, a lot of concern. And that was only 8 days after coronavirus was declared a global pandemic. They had a lot of concern about that, but now Maddie doing great. I heard the other day her weight 10 pounds and 1 ounce. She went back home in late July.
Yeah, great story and a happy conclusion for the Pollock family. AJ enjoying a terrific year. He's homered tonight and leads things off in the 8th against left-hander Brooks Raley, who takes over on the mound for the Astros. Pollock, Muncy, and Smith looking for a little late insurance tonight. Look who's up in the Dodger bullpen, Alex.
I like it. Get him right back out there. Nice job by Doc Roberts. We talked about confidence, and you know the difference for the Dodgers winning a world championship this year may come down to Jensen's, not his stuff, but his confidence.
Ball in a strike, the count to A.J. Pollock.
Alex, do you think that he might be getting an opportunity since it's going to be a non-save situation with a 4-run lead?
Yeah, I like it. I like it, and I wouldn't mind the 8th inning either. Just a non-leverage situation. Get him right back. Look, you're in the golf course. You throw up a 7 or an 8. You want to get right back out there, get a par, and get some confidence going. Chip away, small bites at a time.
Numbers on Brooks Raley. Splitting his time with Cincinnati and Houston this year, making his 16th appearance of the year, ERA over 5. And again, the Astros have cast a very wide net in looking for bullpen help this year. Pollock lines softly to shortstop for Carlos Correa.
Third baseman number 13, Max Muncy.
Big series with the San Diego Padres starting tomorrow for the Dodgers. And LA knows that the Padres aren't going away. In fact, they swept the doubleheader against the Giants today, which has tightened up the NL West for the time being, to San Diego trailing by 2 games. Pods have won 7 in a row. 0-1 the count to Max Muncy. And I know it's fluid in terms of the seeding in the National League for the playoffs. The Dodgers are the top seed right now. The number 8 seed right now is the Giants, believe it or not, sub 500 Giants.
Wow.
It's just the way it is. So if it ends that way, it's San Francisco and LA in the first round. And that's going to be a base hit, despite the nice diving attempt by Miles Straw. Sports Center next with John Anderson and Kevin Connors. They'll have Alec Mills' reaction to the no-hitter, plus breaking down Brady versus Breeze. Live postgame from Cowboys Rams. Sports Center next, right here on ESPN and the ESPN app. Guessing that John Anderson had the Packers in his survivor pool, not the Colts. like the rest of us. One out, one on now for the catcher, Will Smith. So if things change in the NL and in the NL West specifically, if the Padres finish higher than the Dodgers, it's possible.
Yep.
As well as the Dodgers are playing, San Diego's really hot right now. They would get the Marlins as it stands now in that first round, as opposed to the Giants. The Marlins are particularly scary in a short series.
Yep.
Because they've got some terrific young starting pitching.
It'll be interesting to also get the Marlins and Mattingly back playing the team he managed with the Dodgers.
It's a tasty little narrative. Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. It's strange the way it looks like a lot of that wild card round matchup will be within the division.
Yeah.
We talked about the A's and Astros as it stands. Dodgers Giants as it stands. Cubs Cardinals, that would be a wild card series matchup.
By the way, starting tomorrow, Matty, the Dodgers drive down to San Diego, and you have Betts against Tatis playing for the division and maybe playing for the MVP as well.
Oh, it's good. It's good. I'm telling you, man, it reminds me a lot of '96.
And I love what baseball's done this year. There's so many good things that have come out of a very difficult year, a world pandemic. And I don't think baseball gets enough credit for being first in class, being first out of the gates. And the fact that we're 2 weeks away from ending a year is a true miracle.
Yeah.
And hopefully there's things like the 7-inning games, like faster innings. There's a lot of things we can take from this year that hopefully we bring into the future.
Well, I think the universal DH is here to stay.
Yep.
I think there's a chance because players in particular seem really open to the idea of 7-inning doubleheader games. The extra innings rule, which a lot of people poo-pooed at the start of the season, that's been embraced.
It's been great. Exciting. I think getting to know the players.
That's punched into the right field corner and a fair ball. It bounced off the foul pole, which will make it a ground rule double. Hit the track first and then bounded up against the foul pole. And George Springer's going to give that ball to a fan.
Now batting, first baseman, number 35, Cody Bellinger.
Little inside-out hitting here. It hits the pole. So dead ball. Muncy must stay at third base, second and third. The Dodgers are set up.
Another chance now for Cody Bellinger.
And we talked about Bellinger's approach at the plate, hovering all over the plate, and his first movement being, here are the 2 base hits he's had. Both off the end of the bat, both bailing out. Little cue shot there. Living right there. 2 base hits. Results are good, but not the mechanics you wanted to take into the latter part of the year. Stay square, think left center field, and stay tall.
Ball and a strike to count to Bellinger.
And Matty, as an athlete, when you're at the plate, you want to be hitterish. I always say that. You want to be athletic. That means balls at your feet. Think about when you shoot a free throw, you want to be balanced. Right now, all his weight is in the back of his heels. He's leaning backwards. And your bat speed decreases about 30%. And you just don't see the ball as well. You swing at balls and you take strikes. You're confused.
2 balls and a strike to count from Rayleigh.
I like to see him back up about 4 or 5 inches and give himself some room which will create more time. As a hitter, you're always trying to buy more time. You're trying to slow the game down. That's 85, and that's by him. When Cody's right, this ball is in the seats. 85 cement mixer, and it's way by him. And to me, that's a residual of being too close to the plate. And look at all the weight on his heels again.
Just gets a small piece of that to stay alive, 2-2.
And what I would love to see is a swing, but him to stay square looking at Doc Roberts. Right now, he's looking at Dusty Baker after every swing behind him. Take a swing, and when they say stay square, that means swing the bat and keep looking at Roberts. Keep looking at your bench. He's looked at the wrong bench all night long.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Trying to pick up a couple of insurance runs. More important than the result, I think, here is the process. They desperately want to get him right in the next 2 weeks.
This swing right here is a little better. Why? Because he has 2 strikes. He's not as greedy. He's not thinking home run. He's thinking, I'm desperate. I just want to put the ball in play. The result, a better swing. And as a hitter right here, you should be talking to yourself. See the ball, stay square. Don't try to do too much. Stroke it. Don't hit it. Stroke it.
Challenge enough for Cody, the way the hits have been hard to come by, but against left-handed pitching in particular, it's been rough go. 1 for his last 14 against left-handers. Now it's a full count.
You know, Keith Hernandez and Darryl Strawberry back in the day, they used to say, when I was in a funk, I used to like to face a tough, funky lefty because they'll keep my shoulder in there. So far, these are the last 3 pitches have been the best that Bellinger's been all night. I can see a big boom right here. Stay square.
Been a long plate appearance. And it'll get even longer. This has been, Alex, this has been as active as Dave Roberts has been all night. I mean, he's taking that mask on and off to yell attaboys to Cody Bellinger. He is trying to will Cody Bellinger back into being 2019 Cody Bellinger.
Yeah, he looks like Doc Rivers on the sidelines moving around. This guy's going to get going. He's too good. He's too talented. But it's a little bit of an adjustment, and I like what he's doing this at bat.
That one's hit in the air the other way to shallow left field for Brantley to squeeze it for out number 2.
Second baseman number 3, Chris Taylor.
Going to have a pitching change in front of Chris Taylor's at bat. Dusty Baker's got a right-hander up. He's going to make the move to his bullpen. We'll be right back.
The last one, 3-2. I was seeing the ball well the whole at bat. And then I was like, he hasn't thrown me a slider. He threw me a change up to him. Like, let me see it deep, up. Let me put it. It's down on the line downstairs. It's a good pitch.
Carlos Correa wearing a microphone for us tonight, letting us get a little access into the thought process. I just love hearing guys digest the game as the game is going on. A lot of fun for us to watch and comment along with it.
And what I love is bringing the fans in the dugout. Fans want to hear, they want to access. Thank you to Mr. Carlos Correa and Kike Hernandez.
Cy Snead is called on to try to extinguish the last part of this threat. Runners at second and third with 2 gone. Chris Taylor the batter. Taylor homered yesterday. If the Dodgers can hang on here, this is a nice little turnaround for them. Not that they were in a tailspin or anything, but they had lost 4 of 6 at the start of play tonight, and were trying to avoid their first 3-game losing streak of the year. And with San Diego unrelenting on their heels, I think Dave Roberts has liked what he's seen tonight. Safe to say.
And where you want to put the nail on the coffin for the Dodgers tonight is a clean 1-2-3 by Jensen in the 9th. And this is a big at bat for Taylor. You almost want to keep the game 5-1 to see how Jensen reacts. It'll be a totally different outing if it's 7-1.
Two balls and a strike to Chris Taylor. Zach Greinke started this game for Houston and just kind of ran out of gas in the 5th. 5 runs on 4 hits. Cy Snead, the 3rd Astros reliever used behind him tonight. Taylor with a rocket into left field, and that one's gonna go! 3-run shot for Chris Taylor.
And Taylor with a home run last night to right field. This time taking the 3-1 pitch to left center field. Just perfect extension. Fastball count, leverage count. Game time.
That ball was crushed, Alex. Oof. I mean, that got over that tarped off part of the stands. You don't see many hit up there. I mean, that was absolutely smoked. Did we get a distance on that? I saw the exit velo at 107. 419 feet off the bat of Chris Taylor.
13 RBIs the last 9 games for Taylor. Not bad for your 7th hitter.
Man.
Yesterday, 7th and 8th, back-to-back pitches, back-to-back fastballs, home run to right field with Taylor and Hernandez.
You know, it appears that Kenley Jansen is going to pitch the 9th inning anyway, Alex, but to your earlier point, it just kind of changes the flavor a little bit.
Yeah, it's different when you have a 3-run lead, 4-run lead versus a 7-run lead. But there's still 3 things I'm looking for if I'm Dodger management and Dodger Nation.
Nice stop by Toro, and he flips it to Snead.
And that's called a teaser. We'll tell you when we come back.
Skillfully done. Those 3 things when we return for the 9th.
Alex Trebek. And Matty, for the big guy, he needs a 1-2-3 here. I was saying I'm looking for 3 things. Fastball velocity, fastball command, but most importantly is body language. I want to see the predator, not the prey.
It's a strike to Carlos Correa to start the top of the 9th. It was a nightmarish 9th inning implosion by Kenley Jansen yesterday that allowed the Astros to come from behind. 5 runs in the top of the 9th. There have been nights like that for Kenley against the Astros with much bigger stakes. Game 2 of the 2017 World Series. Game 4 of the 2018 World Series. That against Boston, of course. Correa sends a drive out to left. There's 1 gone for Jansen in the 9th. I was a little surprised when Doc Roberts told us before the game he was more concerned with the stuff. You know, sometimes a manager or a pitching coach will say, you know what, it was a matter of pitch sequencing. It was a matter of not executing his pitches. It was, but to say we're concerned about his stuff.
Concerning.
Yeah.
And last night he threw 21 pitches, 18 strikes. Almost too many strikes, Matty. As a closer, there's always something that you want to leave a hitter thinking. You want to be effectively wild. Well, that's too much control. It makes a hitter way too comfortable, and the results showed it.
The details on what happened last night. Faced 6 batters, gave up 5 hits and 5 runs. 1 ball and 1 strike to Josh Reddick.
He had almost every hitter 0-2, 1-2, and couldn't put him away. And that was what was most concerning for Doc Roberts.
Well, Kenley Jansen has earned the seemingly, long latitude that he's gotten to get it right. He is a beloved figure in the clubhouse. He has been central to their success in ripping off these consecutive division titles, and they're giving him a chance to work it out. 2-2.
That's the luxury you have when you play so well and you're the class of the National League with such a great record. You have a few weeks here to pilot out a few things.
I mean, here's the question. If the postseason were to start tomorrow, would Kenley Jansen close? We don't know. I mean, we saw a 22-year-old second-year right-hander out there to start the game tonight that looked unhittable. They've got Blake Trinan, who's closed at a high level. Gratterall's got the stuff. Jansen has the track record despite what happened last night. These are tough decisions. I do know this, that Gratterall has gotten blinged up since the impressive first inning tonight.
One chain for each strikeout. I love it. He's throwing 101, and this is how talented this young man is. Throwing 101, 3 up, 3 down, all on sliders.
And he uncorked a couple 100-mile-an-hour fastballs along the way. Two-two. And a swing and a miss.
And Matty, there's the pitch he did not have last night. The heart-breaking ball over the top, spiked it. That's a swing and miss pitch. Right over the top, good mechanics, gets on top of it. And great spin rate there.
And that is the stuff that Dave Roberts mentioned he didn't have yesterday. He didn't throw a pitch above 93 miles an hour last night.
But the reason why he swings at that pitch is the previous pitch, how you set up Reddick, fastballs up and in with the cutter, you speed him up, and then you spike the curveball for strike 3. Nicely done.
Just missed with a fastball, a ball and a strike to count to Martin Maldonado. 2 out, top of the 9th. Dodgers in control, as they have been for most of the night. They scored early on the Pollock homer. Added 4 in the 5th. And then padded that 5-1 lead with another flurry of runs in the 8th. 3 home runs tonight for LA. Pollock got one early. Betts got a 2-run shot. And then Chris Taylor's 5th of the year. 90 homers to lead Major League Baseball, including home runs in 6 straight games.
Man, are the Dodgers good.
Took the words right out of my mouth. Back up the middle. Taylor to put the finishing touches on the Astros on this Sunday. Dodgers win their Major League leading 33rd of the year going away tonight. They've defeated the Astros by a score of 8-1. For Alex Rodriguez and Buster Olney, Matt Vasgersian signing off from the studio. Coming up next, Sports Center with John Anderson and Kevin Connors. Next week, Twins and Cubs in the Sunday Night Baseball finale. So long from our studios in Bristol.